victims, aren't we all?
Hello there, you bloody loose units, and welcome to Spicy Chats, a little bit of a spin-off of Spicy Boy. We've got a little bit of a chat here about a movie we just saw with a special guest, the one and only Angus Strachan.
What's up? How are we? Man, I haven't done this in a long time.
It's interesting, isn't it?
I haven't done this in a long time. It's
good.
It's nice to be on video. This is the first time I've been on a podcast with video.
True, you guys just... Angus used to run, what was the Film Slice podcast.
Film Slice podcast.
That's right, and that was just a sound, wasn't it? There was no video.
Yeah, just microphones. Yeah,
Yep.
The people just listening don't know what I'm doing in the video. It's great.
He's wielding a sword right now. Yes.
I better put it down.
My cosplay sword. It's addictive, isn't it? You like to swing it around and just fucking have fun with it. It's
for
great.
the first time in my life, I feel masculine.
It's really
amazing.
Good. It is rubber. No one can get hurt. I like to chase the dog around the house with it. He loves it. Go to Middle Earth. But yes, we just saw Monster Hunter. Behind our world, there is another. A world of dangerous and powerful monsters that rule their domain with deadly ferocity. When Lieutenant Artemis and her loyal soldiers are transported from our world to the new one, the unflappable Lieutenant receives the shock of her life. In a desperate battle for survival against the enormous enemies with incredible powers and unstoppable, terrifying attacks, Artemis teams up with a mysterious hunter who has found a way back and how to fight back.
Yes.
Starring Mila Jovovich. Hunter.
Munter, yeah.
Munter.
For sure.
Munter. M. Hunter. And directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who came off the Resident Evil franchise. Of course, he casted his wife, Mila Jovovich, in this.
Is that his wife?
That's his wife.
Man, I had so many jokes about that poor actress that just got roped along for all, and now they're
contractually obligated with a marriage certificate. Yeah. She was dragged.
It's actually, in the vows. Do you take this man and his trilogy of Resident Evil?
You must be in all my shitty video game adaptations, yeah. And I didn't realise, but Monster Hunter is actually a video game adaptation. I had no idea.
Apparently so.
At the end credits it said the Capcom game or something was based on and written for the screen by Paul W.S. Anderson. So we went in there going blind.
Really blind.
The
trailer
trailer
because I am wearing sunglasses inside.
Inside, yes, because you're a cool cat, okay? Yeah, man, it was weird. It's obviously we saw the production companies that were aligned with it at the start of the film, and it was very heavily influenced by Asian studios.
I didn't recognize any of them.
No, either did I. And watching this, you can definitely tell it's for that market, not really for ours.
Oh yeah.
Because not only the casting of all the supporting actors, but also I think the word is kaiju. Those monster movies like Godzilla, Mothra, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's really big in that market.
And what's that big one with the big robots? The giant robots?
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim.
Yeah. They love that shit. They love, monsters
massive
just
swords.
Yeah, wrecking fucking buildings
monsters.
And shit. Yeah. And this movie had a bit of a feel of very steampunky. A little bit of Mad Max, which Paul W.S. Anderson has done with one of the Resident Evil films. I think it was the only good one. Might have been 3 or 4 or something. In fact, it's the one he didn't direct.
Is this a bad time to say that I haven't watched any of them?
I think that's a good thing. Honestly, you're going in completely blind. Because they are fucking horrible. They are so bad. I remember liking the second one kind of, going, oh, that's better than the first piece of shit. And I think the third or fourth one, whatever's the Mad Max one that Paul Anderson didn't direct. That's an okay one. But watching this as well, we find that he's still got that thing. When he directs action, it's almost like an epileptic is fucking editing it. And he's just fucking this and this, and especially in a dark cave, which one of the scenes was like that.
Well, I counted, there were 4 cuts to put seatbelts on.
Yeah. Fuck, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So many cuts just for, unreasonable things.
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah. Although they put the seatbelt on, and then for the rest of the movie, they were just flipping around in a car. And they had that... Are we spoiling? Can we spoil?
This is going to be spoiler, always, I spoil everything,
yeah.
so fuck.
Sweet. Spoiler alert. They had, I don't know if you recognise this, but they must have just gotten like a really good deal on a camera rig inside a flipping car because they had that flipping car shot like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Even to the point where like we'd moved on from the car. The car was wrecked. Yeah. There was no reason to get back in it. But no, she got back in it and did one more flip. Had
no engine, no wheels, but fuck it, we're going to flip it again. He's using that camera as much as he possibly can.
He got good value out of it, yeah.
He did.
He was probably like, okay, we'll put it in the car. If it breaks, it breaks. It's fine. It's probably a cheap camera, whatever. Flip it the first time. Jeez, that camera did all right.
It's made for flipping cars.
Let's flip it again. Let's flip it again. So I was like, yeah, right. Come on, man. Like,
you're so right. I didn't even pick up on that. It's like, because the car, once they leave the car, it's gone, it's over, it's finished. Then, they find a way to get back into it and flip it a couple more times.
And did you recognise right at the end, they put that same camera in the plane.
I didn't, but you're absolutely right.
Flipped the plane.
Flipped the fucking plane.
Who knew you could flip a plane? Turns out you could.
A flip hunter. Like, Jesus. But if you've seen the trailer, you've kind of seen the movie in a way. Or actually, not tell a lie. No, you know how it starts. Like, so it's a bunch of soldiers, whatever, who go into some storm cloud from Mad Max Fury Road and fucking end up in this bizarro world. So like a flipped universe that we've got full of monsters. Go figure. And the opening scene was interesting because it was like very steampunky. It was a pirate ship going through the desert. It was so good. Ron Perlman popped up. I was like, fucking love that bloke.
Yeah, give me some Ron.
Yeah, more Ron. And it was like a crew of this pirate ship sort of outrunning a monster on the sand in this desert. Very sort of Mad Max meets steampunk, Middle Earth kind of. It was fucking weird.
Kind of reminded me of like Mortal Engines.
I was about to say that. Yeah, it very much like that. And I was like, fuck, all right. I want to see a whole story based on this crew. But then they pissed off and they wanted to get the soldiers in here. And I went, oh, fuck, okay, boring. But once the soldiers got into I'm going to call it Middle Earth, I suppose. Once they went there, Mortal Engines world, they didn't last very long. I thought they were going to pick them off one by one. It was going to be a stock standard sort of Hills Have Eyes meets fucking Predator or something. No, they went pretty quickly, which I was happy about. Sad to say. And then it was just, we sort of, this one guy who was a survivor of the pirate ship and Mila Jovovich sort of doing a training montage, getting to learn each other's ways. One's from one world, one's from the other. It was kind of cool. And then we get to meet the pirate ship crew again, which is like, fuck yes!
Thank God.
We're back. So I was expecting this film going in, it was going to be a picking it off one by one kind of deal with these soldiers. And I was like, yeah, okay, it's just going to be a lesser Predator. No, wasn't that at all.
Yeah, I didn't, I had absolutely no idea what was going to happen in the movie, because I don't really watch those kinds of movies. That's not my real cup of tea.
Yep.
But coming into it, I think they did a good job of building the characters of the army people.
Yeah.
Enough so that you cared about them when they died.
True.
The only problem was, the only one I didn't care about was the lead.
Mila Jovovich. She's contractually obligated, man. She has to be in it.
And she was probably half-assing it, to be honest. Yeah. And out of the pirate ship that happened, like the opening scene where you see like all the sailors flying over, you see like this one girl who's got like these steampunk glasses that like zoom in and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting
cool technology.
Character. You see Ron fucking Perlman.
Yeah, as a pirate.
I swear.
Swear all you fucking want. Swear like a sailor.
Perlman.
Swear like a fucking pirate. I don't know.
You see Ron Perlman with like probably just as much makeup as he has on Hellboy.
Yeah.
He's got a lot. Yeah, he's got like these massive mutton chops.
Yeah.
You see him playing with like these little map figurines kind of thing. I'm like, oh yeah, Captain. Okay, this guy is probably really interesting. And then right at the end, you just see this guy up in the crow's nest who's like, oh, love interest with the eye flippy down girl.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we get to find out more about her. Nah, he falls off, and then that's it. And then so the two main leads, I was least interested in.
I actually agree with that. I was least interested in them, the two leads, Mila Jovovich and the native guy. I wanted to know more about Ron Perlman, even the chick with the goggles. You know, she had some cool technology. I went, what's her story? She looks so familiar to me. I should have looked up before this of what she's in. I think she might be a big deal over in Asia. So obviously putting her in the film, can sell some tickets. I think. I could be completely wrong. But yeah, she looks super familiar to me, like I've seen her in something, or an X-Men movie she might be in. I don't know. She's in something, a Western film that I've seen her in. But
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to say anything on the, just on the worry that I might sound racist.
well, yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should have looked it up.
We should have looked it up, but I will after this. Yeah, but I'm probably going to put a picture of her up on the screen at some point. Well,
Bring.
yeah, bring. There you go. That's her, and that's her name underneath. So yeah, there you go. You were talking about.
I'm going to look it up now.
Yeah, do it, please. We're talking about the soldiers, which are kind of like you've seen them before and other stuff. Can't think of where, but you've seen them. Except for one guy I did pick, he was kind of sounded like he had an Australian accent. The one that gets skewered by a horn.
Yes.
Again, we've already said spoilers. He was Stryker in the X-Men prequels. The what do you call it? Apocalypse and shit. He popped up in that.
Was
He was Stryker, and he was the guy who had, I think, he had an Australian accent in this.
in the prequels.
Yeah. So when James McAvoy ones, he's Stryker in those. So that was interesting. I recognised him, but everyone else was like, I've seen them in other stuff. I just can't think of where. But yeah, they seemed really interesting, the characters. But nah, they're gone pretty quick. Bit of body horror too. Like anything arachnid freaks the fuck out of me. Okay, especially when they're nesting shit inside you. There's a bit of that, word of warning. Like you don't like spiders underneath people's skin. I'd close my eyes. Like, there's a bit of that.
Yeah, there was a throwback to Aliens, I think. With,
definitely
like,
the body
the
horror.
spiders, like growing inside. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like that's nice. A bit of a throwback to Aliens because I think we were talking about Aliens beforehand.
Yeah.
It's
Which
like,
I thought, the soldiers or Predator or whatever, and it's going to pick them off one by one.
Yeah.
That genre of film.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but also, like I remember in the movie The Mist, that happened, where spiders were nesting in someone and then they came out and exploded the person. That freaked.
I think it happens in every.
I think it's the invasion of a body that makes it horrific.
Yep.
There's something is in you that you can't control.
I can't find it.
That's all right. We'll find her and we'll put her up on screen. She's interesting, and I thought she was going to be a bigger character, but she wasn't.
Yeah, I want a movie with her as the main lead.
I want...
and Ron Perlman as like the master.
Yeah, he's
master sensei. And,
They got that. No one on the pirate ship speaks English. They speak this weird language that's made up for this world.
Yeah.
Except for Ron Perlman, and it was explained away that people have come through this Mad Max cloud before, and he learnt their language. People from Earth. So there's been a bridge between our two worlds for a while.
Never find out what happened to those other people that he learnt their language.
No, but there's a dangle that there's going to be a sequel. So. I think there was 8 or 9.
There's not a dangle, there's like a whole fucking steak on the plate. Like.
It just collapses you, and there's a hooded figure at the end. It's like, who is this guy? It's going to be a bad guy from the next one, because he's finished with Resident Evil. I think it was 8 or 9 films. I stopped watching them, and it's probably going to be 8 or 9 films of Monster Hunter. So there you go.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Now, question, was it good?
No, it was horrible.
I went in there, after seeing the trailer, I went in there going, this is going to be a horrendous piece of shit. However... it wasn't a horrendous piece of shit. It wasn't good. Yeah, I think you might have hated it more than I did.
It's not my cup of tea.
Yep.
It's not my cup of tea. I think
yeah.
me explaining it as not my cup of tea would explain the fact that it's not my movie. But I think it would be a lot more fun with people. So going to see it with you, I was like, and we were the only ones in the cinema, luckily.
Yes.
So we got to have a bit of a laugh, and like we were talking in between it and stuff, and that was good.
Same one-liners.
I think there's definitely like a realm of movies that are great watching it with people, and then there's a realm, that same realm of movies are horrible watching it by yourself. Because if you were watching it by yourself, you'd be like, oh god, this is the dumbest thing. I hate being that guy. I'm going to play devil's advocate, but there's so much in this movie that is just even more unrealistic than needs to be. They've got the Final Fantasy giant swords and everything.
They're huge.
They're massive, and it's very kind of anime-esque.
Of course, the influence.
Giant swords, giant bows and everything, and like realistically, like that's not really a good weapon. But you're like, okay, different world, different everything. That's fine. Maybe different physics and everything. The problem that got me was these army people came in with their guns, with like massive turrets and stuff, shooting down these monsters, but the monsters like didn't even flinch. Did not
Dragon
even
scales
flinch.
away,
Like, yeah, they're just like, yeah, bullets pinged off and everything.
Yeah.
Mind you, they got saved by a guy with a giant bow and arrow with an arrow that he probably couldn't even like release that. Like,
It was pretty
realistically,
big.
he just like.
It was more of a harpoon than an arrow.
Yeah. And then just like the changing of physics at whim to better the storyline, which it didn't really, but like, I don't know if you picked up on that. I'm like, okay, bullets are useless, right? Sweet.
Yeah.
But then when she gets out of the spider's egg and she's like, what have I got? Okay, I've got some flares. Sweet. I've got like some medical tape or some shit.
Yeah.
And then I've got like some bullets. All right,
Yeah.
these will come in handy. Like,
They've already...
you have sent so many bullets into these things, and they do bugger all.
Fuck all.
But yeah, sure, why not? And then there's then when she's like almost out, but then they grab her back. She's like, I know, I'll use bullets, not with a gun. I'll throw it on some fire and wait for them to explode, and then that saves her. That's the thing that saves her. You're like, you've got to like in these kind of movies, you've got to set parameters.
Yes.
And then go for it. Like I was like, okay, giant swords. That's where we're at. Sweet.
Bullets
giant bows and arrows.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, done.
Yeah.
But you can't just be like, now they work. Now they don't work.
Yeah.
Now they do work.
Yeah. Also, the unbelievability, like her insides would be mush, but the amount of time she gets thrown around or knocked by a monster, or in that fucking rolling car.
Yeah, she's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
she's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, there is. And we joked, because they had a training montage, we joked that they were going to do like the clapping hands out of Predator with Apollo Creed. That
you son of a bitch.
that thing. And they fucking did it.
They did it right at the end. You're like, oh, god damn it.
I was like, you son of a bitch. I laughed at it. I was like, yeah, well done. Like, you're calling it out good.
Yeah.
You know, the training montage was fun. Like, the music was very synthy.
That made it enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
The fact that they were able to take the piss a bit. Because,
a little bit.
Like, at the end when they did that, you're like, alright, you're having a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not going to win any Oscars, but
of course.
You're having a bit of fun. I'm like, okay, that's...
Yeah. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the film. I was expecting to go in there to fucking hate it. But yeah, I was like, I suppose because my expectations were so low, and it wasn't the movie that I was expecting, like the picking off the soldiers one by one. I was like, oh, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. I was like, oh, okay. And it was an interesting sort of culture that we were introduced to with dinosaurs and shit and dragons. That I was like, I want more time with that. So I think that's going to be the sequel because, spoiler alert, they fucking go back into the cloud at the end, and then they attack the tower, which the tower is the point of tension, I suppose, that brings the cloud on. I don't know. It was very vague, but I think that's why they're setting up for a sequel. I had a good time. As I said, we were yelling at some one-liners here and there.
Yeah. Throwbacks to other movies.
Yeah,
and stuff,
during some kills. We were the only ones in the cinema, so it weren't being cinema dicks. We're just the only ones there. Call back.
If you listen to the Film Size podcast, you know what a cinema dick is.
That's it. In the description, I'll put down the link below so you can go back and have a listen to some awesome reviews.
No, we haven't done anything in like a year.
Back catalogue, go back.
Yeah, go back.
We might be going into a third fucking lockdown. You've got all that time to these people. Fucking do it. You've seen it here first. This is the first time Angus has popped up in another podcast. Anyone from the Film Slice podcast, besides Jordan, Spicy Chats is where it's at.
Spicy Chats.
That's it. First time for things here. I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about with this movie, maybe?
Anything else I want to talk about with this movie? It reminded me a lot of The Great Wall.
Yeah, you were saying that, yeah.
Which, again, had the same kind of vibe. Going into it, I was like, this movie's going to be rubbish.
Yeah, of course.
And it was, but it was fun rubbish.
It was fun rubbish. I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't angry. I think I get more angry at movies that I have high hopes for.
Yes.
You know, like a Tenet or something. Or Wonder Woman 84, where I'm like, I'm really excited for this, and then it's just like, ugh, what a letdown.
Would you classify this as a video game movie?
No, because I had no idea, and it didn't feel like a video game movie, if that makes any sense. Like a Mortal Kombat or something.
And did Capcom really exist anymore? I don't think they
I don't know. They did Street Fighter, didn't they? That was their big claim to fame. Yeah. I don't think they do. Or they might have been bought out by Atari or something.
Yeah. The only Capcom game I know is Marvel versus Capcom.
That was a good game. I used to play that at the arcades.
That was good fun.
Who did you
I always
pick?
chose Marvel. I always chose Spider-Man. He was my favorite.
You got 2 though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, you got a backup. I'm pretty sure.
I probably picked another superhero.
I think I always used to pick Spider-Man because he was my favorite Marvel character growing
Wolverine
up.
as well. I think
That was my friend's favorite.
Yeah.
I think I started picking the Hulk because the muscle. Like he used to when
Makes
he used
sense.
to smash you, like it took so much life off. So
makes sense.
I mean, I'm not a gamer, but I fucking love arcades.
Did they bring that back? I think they brought
think so.
back Marvel vs. Capcom.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably with fucking Disney attached to it some form or another.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
pick Mickey Mouse as a fucking character, right?
Disney versus Capcom.
Fucking Olaf from Frozen. I don't know. There's an interesting one. Like Disney versus whatever, anything Star Wars. They fucking own it all. So
I like warm hugs, motherfucker.
I'm gonna pick the pork. Oh shit. Yeah. I didn't feel like a video game movie, but then again, like I didn't know it was a video game. I didn't know anything about this film going in besides the trailer.
No.
I thought it was going to be worse than it was. It's not great, but it's a good time.
It's a dumb concept.
We
had
had
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would recommend drinking during this film.
Yeah, for sure. We
Yeah.
went in sober and still had a good time. I could only imagine with a couple of beers in us. Yeah, for sure.
Rowdy time. Rowdy time. It's a rowdy time.
It's a rowdy time.
Spicy Jazz. Certified rowdy.
Certified
Spicy
rowdy.
Jazz, certified rowdy.
There you go. Would recommend. I kind of sometimes and don't do stars out of 5. I'd say
How many monsters out of...
probably 2.5. Yeah, I'd say 2.5 stars out of 5, if anything. That's probably about it. Good time. Pleasure having you here, Angus. Thank you for being my first guest for Spicy Chats. We'll have to do more of these in the future with other people and get Angus back as well. That's it, folks. Monster Hunter. Cheers.
Cheers.
Stay spooky. Cheers,